People who choose to be kind every day despite of not receiving the same kindness back. What motivates you? Because I could be the other person. Today you. Tomorrow me. I adore this story. Sort of in the same energy. Wherever people make a big deal out of help, I always say, well, I trust you'd do the same for me. I had someone reply with, no I wouldn't. I'm a dick, and just said, well, maybe this was meant to let you reevaluate that. I kinda wonder if they did. We didn't know each other very well. I once bought a gift card and a jug of water and some fruit for a person panhandling outside of a grocery store. It really wasn't a huge deal, but the dude who was parked right next to the guy and ignoring him the whole time said, that was really nice of you. I just responded that the guy was a part of our community and everyone needs compassion. Life is hard. I remember when I was a child and my mom and brother and I only ate dinner because of a kind stranger who showed us that same compassion. I only hope I helped the man eat a yummy dinner and gave him the same feeling of value that stranger gave me so many years ago. I'm kind because I'm kind, not because other people are. Yup, this one for me. I just literally don't have it in me to be mean or rude. It's not who I am. That said, I have gone on a few rants at people who have treated me badly. Alone. In my car. I was trying to rack my brain for a good answer until I saw this comment and I couldn't agree more. I was raised to be kind, and I continue it on my own accord because I want to, not because I'm going to get something in return. It's my nightmare have intentionally or unintentionally caused someone to have a worse day, so I make sure that I'm courteous and friendly to everyone. And yes, on Reddit too. Even new knuckleheads who get sassy and mod mail lol. I try not to reproduce behavior I don't like in other people. Makes me like myself more. Yup. Do it for yourself. When you live consistent to your values and principles, it builds your self-confidence, esteem, and just generally you walk lighter. That's more than enough reason. If the only reason you're kind to people is to get something back, you will always only ever be disappointed. Do it for yourself. Exactly. Part of it is that I do it for myself. I feel good when I do good. The other part is that it's the right thing to do. Because I know how it feels when you're down and your day, week, month, year just ducking sucks. And if there's a chance I can make just one person who feels like that have a better day and feel good for a bit, then it's worth it. Edit. So I've never actually seen a full episode of Friends and had no idea I was close to the theme song. Took me a bit to figure out why so many people were saying I'll be there for you lol, but thanks for making me aware of that. Exactly. Me too. Something so simple and effortless as telling someone their shirt looks cool can honestly make a world of difference in someone's day, so why not do it? I'm not especially strong or educated. I'm not particularly well off, and I know I can get carried away and come off as annoying sometimes. So if I can't be strong or smart, socially adept or successful, I can definitely be kind. When I was young, I used to admire intelligent people. As I grow older, I admire kind people. Abraham Joshua Heschel. To be honest, for me, it takes a lot of effort to be an ass. I don't expect people to be kind back. I do it because it's the right thing, not because I'm hoping for any return. People doing nice things because they expect something in return aren't actually good people. Exactly. Kindness should be shown because it's the right thing to do. There's already enough hatred in the world. Why add more? Right? I think a lot of it boils down to how you are raised. My dad came from an extremely loving family and my mum didn't. My dad will do anything for anyone and doesn't expect something in return, and is always pleasantly surprised when they reciprocate because that's how he was raised. My mum made the conscious decision that she would never be like her family and is right there with my dad. They are both so supportive of me and my brother, and by extension all of our friends, because they see anyone who is part of their life a family. Lost count of the amount of times growing up we had friends stay with us because they had fallen out with their own parents. I try to do the same and raise my girls the same. I'm like your mom. I remember the exact moment at 15 that I decided I wasn't going to be like my parents. They had a room repainted and said it looked patchy when the first coat hadn't even dried. instead of waiting until the job was done or listening. They went full asshole on this poor guy, including threatening his pay. They were recently wealthy. They didn't need to do any of that to him. So I decided duck them. Duck their money and the inheritance they like to dangle over my head. Not if it meant making someone's eyes lose their spark, like they did to the painter. 2 years later they kicked me out for some complicated reason. I was homeless for a year, then built myself from the ground up without them. I've never regretted it. I try to embody this mindset so much. Being a dwarf, I get a lot of shit from people shouting on the street, pointing, people filming me and taking photos of me, asking me invasive questions, generally making rude statements about me or expressing weird assumptions. It gets tiring and sometimes downright upsetting, for sure. But I never want to let that feed into how I interact with people in general. As soon as I'm addicted to someone preemptively, without cause, I have just ruined an opportunity to have a positive new connection in my life. People can and will often surprise you. And even people who may seem ignorant or rude at first can change dramatically if I don't just shut them down from the offset. There is a line, of course. If someone is a complete unapologetic ass, duck them. I'm not against standing up for myself, and I have had to cut ties with people before. But in milder situations, people have the capacity to change, and it's kind of wasted potential to not encourage that, whether it is through empathy or kindness. I used to let all of this get to me. I would be so angry and miserable every day. I hated everyone. But eventually, I realized that empathizing with people is a win for both parties. Understanding where a person is coming from, not excusing it, but understanding it, made me less angry, and in turn allowed for them to not get defensive or aggressive like they would if they were just pegged as a monster. Eventually, empathy just became easier. It made me happier, and it took less of a toll on my mindset. Sorry if this is a stupid question, but did Peter Dinklage becoming a favorite character in Game of Thrones make things better or worse? It seemed like the first time that a dwarf actor had top billing in a prestige TV. Again, sorry if that's a stupid question. Overall, definitely better. I got sick of the Tyrion references 8 years ago, but that's really the only negative, and the references are still so much better than the Oompa Loompa and Mini-Me references. I think the best part is how much it normalized us being sexual beings in a non-perverted, fetishized way. We are just people. I think the best part is how much it normalized us being sexual beings in a non-perverted, fetishized way. We are just people. The last time I saw you on Reddit I said the same thing, but damn, I really never thought about this. I guess it goes to show how helpful positive representation in media can be. It just never hurts to be nice. You don't know what people go through or how long it's been since someone said something or did nice for someone. So I do my part to reset the clock on that. I remember holding the door for a guy one time when he was like 20 feet behind me, and he was so appreciative that someone did something for him that sounded like he was about to tear up. You just never know. So why not be a good person? I actually just quit my job yesterday because I realized that my managers were being intentionally rude and hurtful towards me, and the higher ups didn't care. One of the days I was just having a hard day, and when my manager came down on me intentionally harder than was necessary, I had a major panic attack. Later that afternoon he admitted he wrote and reread the mean message, but decided to hit send anyway because he knew I wouldn't like it. I just realized in that moment I couldn't be in a place that condoned that kind of behavior from employees. Said managers then begged me to stay after I put in my notice. Of course. Later that evening I went to the grocery store and saw the same meat counter lady who is always there. She's always so polite and friendly, so because I was having a bad day I asked her, how are you always just so gracious and friendly? I have never seen you otherwise, and I love that I can always expect to see you here with a smile on. She instantly started to tear up and told me what I said meant so much because she was having an absolutely horrible day. I just thought again how much words can matter and felt even more justified leaving my job. You never know what a person is going through, and your attitude and words can make or break someone's day. So why not just be kind? My go-to response to people who are rude to me is, "You seem like you're having a bad day. I hope being rude to me made you feel better about yourself." Usually shuts people down pretty quickly. I just think you shouldn't make anyone else's life harder than it already is. Edit. I've been on Reddit 9 years and I've never had this much of a reaction to one of my comments. Thanks, y'all. To clarify, I'm not a saint. There are exceptions, and my kindness does have limits. However, I usually try very hard to be nice to people because life sucks sometimes. When another person makes you suffer, it is because he suffers deeply within himself, and his suffering is spilling over. He does not need punishment, he needs help. That's the message he is sending. Thich Nhat Hanh. This monk has changed my mindset so much over the years, especially his take on death. His metaphor is a cloud. Same here. Close street thing to a true living legend we have today. Got the opportunity by chance to join him in walking meditation. He was in a wheelchair a couple years ago and I was moved to tears. That man has helped me so much over the years. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind. Always. Robin Williams. Being unkind makes me feel very guilty immediately, lol. Even if they deserved it. I just feel kind of angry or upset after. Never better. You never know who's suffering from what. Anger. The world is often shitty and people are often selfish. So I'm relentlessly positive and friendly even when others abuse it. I'm not letting shitty people gaslight me into being like them. Seeing other people happy is reward enough. Anxiety makes me think everyone already hates me, so I try to be liked by people. My mother. She was the nicest person I've ever known. She was respectful, kind and nice to everyone, even the ones who were mean to her. She committed suicide in April of 2019. And it made me really question life at the time. I think of her and aspire to be that level of kindness. I guess it reminds me of her whenever I see I've made someone smile. Let me tell you a story. Some years ago I was working as a barista at a small coffee shop that only had one person there at a time. If the boredom didn't get to you, the isolation would a little. I was working a morning shift that day and I had gotten little sleep the night before, so it put me in a rather bad mood. Coffee can only substitute sleep so well. Now I had been serving customers their drinks that morning and I've always disliked the people that asked for really complicated elaborate things. A lady comes up asking for one such thing, and it was a situation where she wanted more of something that would result in less drink in her cup. According to my bosses, we were not supposed to humor those people and legit fill the cup near halfway as a result of the customer's request. This is actually kind of absurd, because anyone who works behind the counter knows there is enough product left over in the mixing cup to fill the guest's cup, but we are supposed to dump it. So I did as I was supposed to. Being in the mood I was, and knowing it's what my bosses would have wanted, I thought, no a-hole here, duck this lady, and just filled her cup up halfway. When she received it and asked why it was half full, I told her that's what we are supposed to do. She responded pleasantly and thanked me for the drink and handed over an origami elephant that she had been making while waiting for her drink. I think I had not felt so bad as I did in that moment in a long time. She was so nice to me when I had actually been rather mean-spirited towards her. I kept the origami elephant on my counter for the rest of the 2 years I worked there as a reminder to give my best to people. Even if it's not much, just remember to give that little bit extra. I have heard the saying before, you can choose to either be the light or the mirror that reflects it, and I think that was one of those moments for me. I still have the elephant to this day, in a box of special little gifts I have received in my life. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. I believe in this quote a lot and try to live by it. Giving kindness is free, and maybe, in some situations, it may cost more effort. But at the end of the day, I just want them to be happy. That is reward enough for me. You never know what someone is going through. Even the happiest of people can be struggling internally. I struggle with low self-esteem and suicidal thoughts. I never want someone else to feel how low I feel on a daily basis. Being kind can literally be life-saving. I'd rather put positive vibes out into the world. It feels good. If no one is extending an arm, I take it as my responsibility to extend mine. The golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated. However, once the line has been crossed, it becomes I will treat you the way you treat me. Though my tolerance is fairly high, you can despise someone, yet still be nice. One day an old man saw a boy upon a beach. The boy was picking up sand dollars that had washed ashore and were dying in the hot sun. Handful by handful, the boy took as many sand dollars as he could to return them to the safety of the ocean. But the beach was covered in hundreds of exposed sand dollars. Seeing this foolishness, the man called out to the boy, "Why do you do such a thing? There are hundreds of sand dollars on this beach. You can only help so many. Why are you wasting your time on something that doesn't matter to you?" To which the boy responded, "Perhaps you are right. Perhaps this act does not matter to me, but it matters to them. Kindness is a choice. You don't do it for praise or prize. You just do it because it's the right thing to do sometimes."